I've learned more from failures and insecurities and all sorts of things than I've ever learned from successes in life.
In the service industries and working at a grocery store midnight to 8 a.m., I think those jobs taught me more about working in Hollywood than almost anything I've ever done. Because, Hollywood, you work with a lot of people that are, not necessarily accountable. There's a tremendous flexibility with people who, you could show up a week late and they'll just clap once you get to set. I think working those jobs, they taught me a real kind of steadfast accountability. I always sort of felt like if I'm 5 minutes early, I'm already 10 minutes late. And I'm telling you, that's like half of the good things that have come to me have been about being super and hyper accountable. And that also creates infuses some gratitude for the position that you're in, and understanding the position that you're in is sort of a fleeting thing. It doesn't last. And those jobs taught me a lot. I mean, working at Safeway, working at that bar, if you're 15 minutes late, you're fired.
Just see that, a lot of attention, good and bad, is probably not great for anybody. Some people thrive on it. Some people really handle it very well and integrate it into who they are in a way that works incredibly well. And then other people don't. I've seen movie stars with giant air quotes that it's really been one of the more devastating things that have ever happened to them. My highest goal in show business was to be the wacky neighbor in a sitcom. Quite literally. Like, if I could go to Los Angeles, I started an improv comedy. If I could go to Los Angeles, I could get a job as the wacky neighbor in a sitcom, I would be set. That was all I ever really wanted. So everything else that's happened, and it's all happened quite slowly, has been a kind of an aggregate. If you want to call it fame or any of that stuff, it's always been very slow.
I didn't become totally dysfunctional by Hollywood, which is, something that I don't know if it speaks to my character, but it's easy for that to happen.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 25 years.
Of course.
I've seen it happen all around me. So it's a tough thing, man, when you're in the spotlight in any way, to kind of keep your stuff together. So
yeah, I've had anxiety my whole life, really. And I feel like I have two parts of my personality, that one takes over when that happens. When I would go out on like Letterman back in the day, I would always be nervous. But I remember I'd be standing backstage before the curtain would open, and I would think to myself, I'm gonna die. I'm literally gonna die here. Or the curtain's gonna open and I'm just gonna be a symphony of vomit. Just like something horrible is gonna happen. But as soon as that curtain opens, and this happens in my work a lot too, it's like this little guy takes over and he's like, I got this. You're cool. I feel like my heart rate drop and my breathing calm, and I just kind of go out and I'm this different person.
No matter how many years you do something, you don't get jaded, you're passionate about it, you love it, and it spoke to so much of what I love about this industry, even though it's very easy to find so many things that are detestable about it. There's truly great people that work in it, and artists and people that are, living, breathing human beings, not just sort of products that we've created. I just love that. That to me was a huge lesson.
Vulnerability is beautiful and strong. Weirdly, even though strength to some people might be anathema to vulnerability, I think like there's, you can't really have one without the other.
It's so easy to blame yourself or to blame something else, and it's actually that idea of leading with vulnerability and admitting that just because you're the father doesn't necessarily mean you know what's best.
To be able to start conversations from a place of openness and not knowing and vulnerability is a huge honor.
I think we're sort of entering an age where, people don't talk about this. I mean, my father's generation, they never talked about mental health or what was going on inside. It was just bottle it up, and, and the younger generations, and hopefully my kids and their kids will, have more open dialogues about this kind of stuff. And sort of, that's kind of the way out, is to feel, I always found like when you feel like you're not alone in something, for some reason you can recover a lot faster, or you can see the light a little bit faster. But when you feel like, and a lot of people do, they feel like they're completely alone, and that's the worst feeling on earth. So talking about it kind of to a certain degree sheds a little sliver of light in there, and I think that's important.
I think as a father, I really could understand that feeling of impotence you have sometimes when you love and know your kid more than anyone, but you actually don't always know the answers, particularly when it comes to issues of mental health.
You start to kind of become your own worst critic. So most of the time I'm being hard on myself. And I was like a real introvert as a kid. I did not like school. I did not like the social pressures. I didn't like the dynamics. Yeah, I think my 12-year-old self would be proud of me because I do this thing in a way that has some integrity. I like to think that 12-year-old would look at where I'm at and I'm, we're doing all right, I think.
We need friends, we need support in the community, we need teachers. There's so many people that influence us, that guide us along the way. That really leading with that vulnerability leads to the possibility of really actually being able to understand and empathize with those people around you, to walk in their shoes and have real honesty. Never worry alone. That we're all in the same boat. That this mental health issue is a crisis everywhere in the world. And no one is immune to it. Everybody knows somebody, if they're not dealing with themselves or close to them. This is something that we need to talk about.
Part of why I've been successful, I think, in my business life is being somewhat self-aware, and I understand the idea that when you extract a lot from a system, you need to put some back in as well. So part of it comes from that. I can't, safely say that I would enjoy my position in life if I wasn't sharing it. Not just sharing wealth, but also sharing power. Stepping aside where appropriate as well. And you can do all these things and, at the end of the day, like, you're still doing all right. Yeah. It doesn't change, much for your own personal situation other than it really feels great